Here is an audio discussing an article by Sass Rogando Sasot that was published on Facebook in November 2023. The article is called Rupture Not Connivance, Duterte's Defense to Rupture. This discussion is timely and relevant with the arrest of the former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte by the ICC on charges of crimes against humanity. Sassot's article presented a neutral exploration of the strategic choices available to the former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte in response to the International Criminal Court proceedings. Sassot outlined two potential paths. First is defense to rupture, which rejects the ICC's legitimacy outright. Second, defense to connivance, which involves cooperating with the ICC while contesting its findings. However, almost 2 years after Sassot published the article, it becomes clear that President Bongbong Marcos chose connivance over rupture, leading to the arrest of Duterte by the ICC on March 11, 2025, at the Manila airport upon his arrival from Hong Kong. In her article, Sassot highlighted that ICC jurisdiction depends on state consent, which the Philippines withdrew in 2019. She noted that this withdrawal removed the ICC's authority over new cases, but allowed proceedings initiated before 2019 to continue. She emphasized that sovereignty should be paramount in deciding whether to cooperate with external bodies like the ICC. Sassot cited Supreme Court Justice Marvick Leonin's exchange during oral arguments, where petitioners admitted that Philippine courts were neither unwilling nor unable to prosecute human rights violations. This reinforced her point that the domestic judicial system was intact and capable of addressing such cases without foreign intervention. As stated earlier, there are two options for defense. First is defense to rupture, is a strategy of complete rejection of the ICC's legitimacy, refusing participation or recognition. Second, defense to connivance, which on the other hand is a strategy of cooperation with the ICC, accepting its authority while contesting its findings. Sassot underscored that Marcos Jr., as chief architect of foreign policy, held ultimate authority over whether to allow ICC intervention. His decision would reflect not just legal considerations, but also political calculations. Now looking back at Sassot's article, and with Duterte's arrest under an ICC warrant facilitated by Marcos Jr.'s administration, it is evident that the path of connivance was chosen. This outcome now raises serious concerns about Marcos Jr.'s priorities and motivations. 1. Undermining sovereignty. Marcos Jr.'s compliance with the ICC through Interpol contradicts his earlier rhetoric about protecting Philippine sovereignty. By facilitating Duterte's arrest, Marcos effectively allowed a foreign body to intervene in domestic affairs, disregarding the Philippines' withdrawal from the Rome Statute. This sets a dangerous precedent where international institutions can bypass national sovereignty, undermining the principle that Filipinos should resolve their own internal issues. Second, judicial system overlooked. Sassot emphasized that Philippine courts were functional and capable of prosecuting alleged crimes. Yet Marcos Jr. bypassed these mechanisms. His actions imply either a lack of faith in the judicial system or a deliberate choice to sideline it for political purposes. This decision diminishes public confidence in domestic institutions and raises questions about whether justice is being pursued or merely political vendettas. Third, political expediency. Marcos Jr.'s choice appears driven more by political calculations than legal or moral considerations. The arrest intends to weaken Duterte's political influence and diminishes his family's power, particularly that of Vice President Sara Duterte, amid their rivalry with Marcos. Fourth, betrayal of national interests. Marcos Jr.'s alignment with international norms at the expense of sovereignty alienates significant portions of his constituency. Duterte enjoyed widespread support during his presidency, particularly in Mindanao, where many view his arrest as a betrayal by Marcos.